My name is Carina Gardner, and I'm what you would call a practical designer. If you're ready to create a life that you love, become an incredible force for good, and generate income while pursuing your dreams, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to Make and Design.
Hi, designers. So I am still recovering from a cough, so hopefully I can get through this episode. I've been doing our Design Your Life episodes, that's our paid private podcast, and just doing it with a cough. So I think I can get through this episode. I'm really excited to talk about great design being invisible. It's something that I haven't shared on this podcast before, but it's definitely something I've shared while working as a professor at the University of Minnesota. So one of these fantastic quotes that you hear all the time, but this is Steve Jobs, and it exemplifies the idea of invisible design. He says, most people make the mistake of thinking design is what it looks like. People think it's this veneer, that the designers are handed this box and told, make it look good. That's not what we think design is. It's not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works. And it kind of goes to this age-old issue that William Morris really wanted only two things to happen in his, I think it's Red House, in the 1890s. And that is that he wanted things to be beautiful and usable. And it's something that I mention in the chapter where I talk about him in Make Art That Sells, which is my book you can get on Amazon. But I thought we could talk about this whole idea that great design is invisible. So let's think back to a time where you have negative feelings, and actually it can be just about anything. Like maybe you had a negative feeling about a business that you went to, like a nail place or a hair place, or maybe you had a negative experience about, whatever. I guarantee you thought of something pretty quick, because here's the thing. We remember negative experiences. Very often with good design, we forget and don't even know it's there until something happens that make it frustrating or a little difficult. The negative experience I came to mind wasn't even a big negative experience, but many of you guys have been watching my YouTube channel, and I've been doing this new series called Design Around the World. And I really have been focusing mostly on aesthetics, not on functionality of design, because I'm going places and I'm taking pictures of the graphics and the 2D design. And the hotel we stayed in, which ended up in my top 5 of design, was really beautiful. I really loved it. I mean, talk about the interiors were smart, the colors were on point, the way they used metal, really well done. But there were actually some functional issues in the hotel that really bothered me. For example, it was such a dark room. There was never a time where you could turn up the lights all the way and for it to feel light and bright. Now, granted, that was kind of taken care of by the windows if you wanted to open up all the windows. But like in terms of just getting things light and bright, you really couldn't do that because of the design work. The second thing is there wasn't a great place for the trash can. I know that sounds kind of like a funny thing. There's a trash can underneath the sink, but there wasn't really another great place for it in the hotel room because everything was so beautifully curated. And for me, that's a functionality issue. I want to figure out ways to make it really easy for me to throw things away or whatever. So there's always this balance between functionality and beauty, and we're always trying to find it. Now, once again, let's talk about good design being invisible. So one of the things that happens at Disneyland, if you've ever been to Disneyland, is after so many steps, you should see a trash can. That design is very invisible, but they've figured out how long it takes to get from trash can to trash can so that you can throw your stuff away so that Disneyland stays beautiful, clean, and unlittered. That is good design. And that is really a cool thing about the invisibility of good design, because you don't even know it's there. You don't think about it. If I'm eating, for example, an ice cream, and I'm eating it and I took off the wrapper and I'm holding the wrapper, once I get a couple bites in, I see a trash can and I can just throw away and have another hand free. That isn't something that I'm going to pay attention to unless I have the negative experience of having to hold on to that trash for too long, right? So like if I'm walking, I'm like almost done with my popsicle or ice cream, and I'm holding trash, I'm going to be a little bothered by that, right? Because it's hard for me to maneuver. Or if I have small kids with me, I might be bugged by that. That's the only time it's going to be coming into my head that I'm having a negative experience at Disneyland because I don't want to be carrying this trash around. And that's how important good design is because it's so invisible. We see this all the time on iPhones and especially early iPhone usage. Those of us Gen Xers or like late millennials, kind of remember when iPhones came out and there was all kinds of design issues like I can't find this on or how do I get to this or whatever, right? Those design issues became negative experiences and we remembered them. But notice how few negative experiences we have. Maybe we have negative experiences with content and stuff, but like with actual user interface when it comes to the iPhone, they've gotten rid of a lot of bugs and they've also trained us as customers to understand the way the design works. This is also often called UX or user experience. And we're always looking for a great user experience. Now, how does this relate especially to crafting designers, surface pattern designers, or designers who are creating printables or stickers? Okay, so that's you guys. That's what we're doing. A lot of us are creating profitability from these types of things. So one of the ways that we can do these things and make a great user experience is, number one, offer instructions in a way that's easy for people to find them. Now, I have not always done a great job of this. I'm going to tell you, this is a learned experience for me. And some of my older files don't have as great user experience as my newer files, because my newer files I make like, if I think it's even a little bit difficult, I make a YouTube video to show people how to make it, right? I have lost data, like we have lost user experience instructions from old websites we had that didn't translate over into our new websites, right? So there are all these things that help give a great user experience. And the first one, in my opinion, is instructions for your customers, right? Showing people how to use it. The second thing is really nice, clean files. So especially for SVG files, the way that you layer those files can really make or break whether a design does well for a customer. So if you can cleanly make it, even if you're thinking of them, even if it's an intermediate user, but you're thinking of them as a new user and trying to give them a great experience, then that's really going to be good for your design work. The design itself is going to be beautiful, right? It's going to be aesthetically pleasing. Your skills are going to be on point for it because you're going to know the software. So those are the things I'm not worried about. What I am worried about is making sure that when your customers have a good experience, they don't need to contact you. And that's good for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's good because then they are able to navigate and get what they need from you rather quickly without you interacting with them. And number two, it saves you time so you can spend more time designing. So there are lots of logical reasons for trying to create a good user experience, a functional experience with your files and your customers. Hopefully you like this episode, and it's a little bit shorter, but I just think that this whole idea that good design is invisible, which is something that we talk about, especially in Foundations graphic design courses, is that it makes things easier. And that is the whole point. Good design is meant to make things easier, okay? And it's really about that experience of interacting with a design, as well as your process of designing it so that it is easy to design, okay? So we've seen this all over for like websites and forms that you have to turn in, right? And making sure that our signage and the things, that's part of the reason I do the Design Around the World series, makes sense, right? And uses great typography and things that are very readable or legible for people. It's so funny because I'm on the internet right now, I have in front of me, but I have some signs that are done in papyrus. Papyrus has like all of these weird edges to it, and it doesn't say it's done with papyrus. I can just tell that the font is papyrus because there are some fonts that we just know to be poorly executed difficult to read. Papyrus is actually one of them. Or like Comic Sans. You always hear the runaround about Comic Sans. And it's just because of legibility, of understanding it, and also the degree we take those fonts serious, right? If you see Comic Sans on something, you know it's not, well, you hope it's not like university level education, right? Because that doesn't make sense. It doesn't have the feel of a university. I just always laugh. I just always laugh at some of the things that we see when it comes to design, because so many things are done poorly, but then there are so many things done excellently and beautifully, but we don't even notice it because it's just such a good experience that we don't notice it at all. I love this quote. I had seen it somewhere that said, good design is like plumbing. So think about that. When you go to the bathroom, you're not thinking about all the pipes in your house, okay? You know when you think about the pipes in your house? When one starts leaking, right? That's when you start thinking about it. So when it's a problem, we start thinking about it. When it is working and it's doing what it's supposed to do, it's invisible. So good design is like plumbing. And I think all of us can relate to that because all of us have had a leaky pipe before, or something that didn't go the way we wanted it to go, or like a clogged bathroom, right? Those are things we notice, right? We don't notice all the times that it works beautifully and well for us. Jared Spool said this: good design, when it is done well, becomes invisible. It's only when it's done poorly that we notice it. And I think that kind of sums all of this up. And it really shows the importance of really good design.
Did you know you have access to more free design content, die cut files, and sewing patterns? Join our exclusive VIP group for free by going to designsweetcourses.com/free.